So I watched the Grammys last night. I don't usually watch the Grammys because I don't know, for some reason I seem to have naturally floated away from watching Grammys and award shows. For some reason it just didn't seem an interesting thing. I think at one stage that they were sort of, going over the top with it a bit, and I think that sort of made people want to slink away from it. Either that or I just haven't been following movies and music for a while. But anyway, I watched this one yesterday evening, and it's like the first thing that I noticed is that it started at 9:30, and it's like that's just way too late to start something that goes for a long time. It literally went until 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I cannot stand. I don't usually stay up till 1. I could have stayed up till 1 quite easily, but then I was sort of thinking, oh, I really need to have a shower by like around 12:30. So anyway, I started watching it a little bit, and this year it was at the casino Las Vegas. Um, it was a very like most people had fairly dark hair is one thing that I noticed. The person presenting had dark hair. A lot of acts had dark hair. It seemed as though dark hair was the dominant theme of this sort of performance. Either that or just a lot of groups have fairly dark hair. Um, so I was sort of noticing that quite a bit. But other than that, I haven't followed music in a really long time, so I didn't really know many of the songs. Saying that it had some performances of songs that I liked. I knew like the Drive song and the other one that got a few Grammys. I don't actually remember the song name, but it's one of my more favorite songs that I've been listening to on the radio. I think your just instincts just pick up on songs that you seem to just naturally like pretty quickly, and so it was good to see that there were a few awards for songs that I actually liked. But I had not heard of many of the other songs and things. Um, and and so I was like, oh, I haven't even heard of most of these other groups. So besides two female-based singer songs, most of the other groups are pretty like alien to me, and I've never heard them. Um, but yeah, I was gonna stay until the end because I'm sure that the big finale is the songs with ABBA in them. I just wanted to see how it was presented, but then I realized, oh, I'm getting tired and I need to have a shower. So instead of watching it to the end, I just sort of floated off and went to bed. So if it had started even an hour earlier, I probably would have watched the whole thing. But because it finished, early in the morning instead of by 12, it's like I didn't bother to watch the whole thing because it's like, oh, it's getting late, have to get ready for bed. If I had had a shower before the performances, I probably would have watched the whole thing, but I needed to have a shower and go to bed. Anyway, it was basically a pretty easy to watch sort of show. It didn't seem over the top, like it usually is. It seemed pretty, I don't know, pretty local, I guess, in a way. What would have been good was probably a little bit more like casino kind of embellishments, I guess, in some sort of way to emphasize the fact that it was casino. But either way, I didn't really mind how it was set up, and the performances were quite good. But I actually do feel like there's probably a disconnection between audience and performers, I think, now, because I don't know. I think all that Hollywood stuff's Yeah, I think there's an attempt to make it subsidized, um, to decrease the inflation of the open doors of Hollywood and song studios and things. But no, it was a pretty easy to watch show. I don't know who my best performer was. I liked most of the performances. They were all quite good in some way, but I didn't know many of the songs. I'd never heard the Justin Bieber song, and I was like, I don't know, it's pretty relevant to the US maybe, but for the rest of the world, you're like thinking, oh, it's a little like US orientated, it's not really a global song. I think it's something that people of a certain area might appreciate as opposed to people who just want to listen to a song. Saying that, I haven't actually heard him sing in a long time, and it was interesting to see it. I sort of liked it in a way, but in another way, it's like sort of like rolling my eyes and thinking, oh, I mean, it's not really a global song, really. But, he's probably made a lot of money globally, presenting a song like that. So, Um, but no, it's interesting to catch up on the music scene a little bit, I guess, and lots of people winning awards and. But you do think a lot of people are like one-hit wonders, and so it's like, what I was thinking, like, what is the real influence in winning an award such as this? Because when you're a one-hit wonder, you seem to be there 1 minute and go the next, and you're like thinking, well, everyone's like clapping now about an award, but the song itself is gonna like come and go, and it's like, really, what is the real, influence on winning an award? I mean, a lot of people are written history for winning an award, and when it's like a one-hit wonder that comes and goes, it's like, a time of generations, and you're like thinking when you're watching it, what really is the what what really is the award? I mean, it just seems like a local award as opposed to like something really influential, because that the singer and the song is gonna like fade out. I mean, it's catchy right now, but in a year's time, even, it will like phase out and be like on the back of the turning wheel sort of thing, and you're like going. And I was like thinking when I was watching these awards shows, it's like what really is the influence? I mean, to someone, they probably you know gotten a great deal of wealth very quickly, but then in a year's time they'll be like on a shelf collecting dust, I guess. And you're like thinking, what really is the influence of this award? Is it really something to write uh, with high prestige, or is it like something like, oh, you've won an award, but next year when you're forgotten, it's like it won't matter and things. So I think that's sort of what I was thinking when I was watching it. I was like, mm. Because most of those songs seemed good for now, but like I don't think they're gonna be good forever. Some musicians have made songs that have been good for a really long time. And it's like you're like thinking, hmm. So that's what I was thinking when I was watching. I was like, I don't think anyone's really gonna climb stairs or anything, but it just seems that, I don't know. It's a good thing for now, but in the end, it's like it won't. You're like thinking, oh, I don't think any of this will even matter in a year's time. But I guess, in the end, someone's got a nice decoration on their mantle. But, really the follow up of someone who wins an award, it's really probably an industry only kind of thing. And you're like thinking, wow, that person washed up ages ago. In fact, they washed up, a year after they released their award-winning songs, and you're like going, what does it really matter? Anyway, it was interesting to see, I guess, yeah.